Greetings, this is DSLYECXI from the Arma community group Shack Tactical. In cooperation with Bohemia Interactive, I'm creating a series of videos that explain some of the basics of Arma 3. Today we'll be looking at machine guns, the teams that operate them, and how they can best be employed on the battlefields of Arma. Machine guns are a cornerstone of infantry tactics. Their ability to place sustained and accurate fire on enemy out to ranges beyond what infantry are typically capable of makes them well suited for the destruction of enemy targets, but it also allows them to be a formidable tool for suppression. The Navid and SPMG, the two medium machine guns that are brought in with the Marksman DLC, are prime examples of the power of machine guns. Let's take a look at how to get the most from them, both from the gunner and team perspective. Machine guns tend to fire heavier bullets than those used by riflemen, and because of this, the ammo is bulkier and heavier, as is the weapon itself. While they can be employed by a single person if the need arises, it's generally best to use them with a team in support, typically consisting of 3 people: a team leader, machine gunner, and an ammo carrier. The team leader's job is to pick positions from which the machine gun can be best employed, locate and range targets, direct the gunner's engagements, spot and adjust the gunner's fire, and work to keep the team alive through solid employment techniques. To this end, the leader has either binoculars or a laser rangefinder to help in the identification and engagement of the enemy. The gunner is mostly concerned with the technical application of their weapon. They pick firing positions, engage targets with appropriate rates of fire, conduct suppression, communicate their ammo needs to their team, and listen for and act upon any adjustments dictated by the team lead. The ammo bearer provides security to the team while halted, and supplies the gunner with extra ammo when needed. While the team leader and gunner are concentrating on any given engagement, the ammo bearer maintains situational awareness while scanning around to ensure that the team isn't being maneuvered on by another enemy force, as well as potentially locate other targets that are out of the gunner's arc of observation. Due to its high volume of fire and accuracy, positioning the machine gun becomes a significant factor towards overall effectiveness. This comes in 2 forms. The first being that the team needs a good location from which to see and engage targets, while the second is that the enemy tends to prioritize machine guns once they're taking fire, so the position must be able to provide protection from return fire. The best positions are those where the team is able to take advantage of cover and concealment to move between different prearranged firing positions. The greater the survivability due to cover and concealment, the longer a team can fight from a given position. The gunner can make use of both weapon resting and weapon deployment to help stabilize their fire. The former requires an object of some sort to rest on and is a passive benefit, which is indicated by the UI in the upper right of the screen, while weapon deployment requires an open space to deploy the bipod onto and then begin pivoting around, and this is initiated by the default key of C. The pivot deployment nature of this allows a gunner to set up in a window, on a wall, or various other improvised objects, and have a broad arc of fire based on the dimensions of the object deployed upon. Once set up in a good position, the gunner and team leader scan for targets. The team leader scans with his optic, while the gunner may or may not have a magnified scope for their weapon. Once a target is found, the next step is to range it. This can be done by estimation or by using a laser rangefinder. The gunner then adjusts their point of aim or sight zero accordingly, and when in doubt, they err on the side of shorter instead of longer. It's easier to adjust from a low range to a higher one, since the bullet impacts will strike terrain and give a visual indication of the necessary adjustment, while rounds that pass over the target won't give the same visual cue. When engaging, a gunner varies their rate of fire based on a number of different factors such as target clarity, range, the capability to observe the fall of the rounds, and so forth. Generally, a gunner will want to fire in short bursts. 6 to 10 rounds works well, and this is to better control their fires, as well as conserve ammunition. A burst of fire produces what's known as a cone of fire. This is where the recoil and the mechanical aspects of the weapon cause the rounds to disperse around the point of aim. When the cone of fire intersects objects or terrain, this becomes known as the beaten zone, the area in which the bullets are actually landing. Because the rounds impact in a dispersed manner, the odds of striking a target are increased, which is why it's important to fire a solid burst each time. While engaging, the team leader observes the target area and gives adjustments to the gunner. These are done by telling the gunner how to shift the fire onto the desired targets, stating the direction is left, right, up, or down, and the distance to adjust in meters. The gunner listens for the adjustments, makes the necessary corrections, and fires a burst. The team leader will continue to observe and adjust until the gunner is on target, at which point they'll simply state "on target." Once the target has been neutralized, the gunner shifts fire automatically or at the direction of the team leader. Engaging moving targets requires the gunner to predict how far the target will move and the time it takes for the bullets to reach them. Ideally, the two will reach the same point at the same time, resulting in a hit. There are two main ways to accomplish this. The first is called tracking fire. This is when the gunner estimates the lead required, tracks along with the movement of the target, and fires. If successful, the rounds will strike the target, followed by more hits as the tracking occurs. This requires getting the correct lead almost from the start, or else the target will evade and attempt to take cover. The other option is to do what's known as an ambush engagement. This is where the gunner picks a point in front of the target, guesses how long it'll take for the target to reach that point, and then begins firing at the right time. Firing with the ambush method creates a wall of bullets that the target will unknowingly move through, increasing the chance for a hit. Tracking tends to be a technique that's used at closer ranges, while ambushing works better at longer ranges, with smaller targets, or with faster target movement. Due to the heavier rounds machine guns fire, gunners should be aware that they may be able to pierce cover being used by the enemy. While a wall might stop rifle fire from a distance, machine gun fire could very likely penetrate it and wound or kill anyone hiding behind it. While hitting the enemy means a great deal, suppression can be just as, if not more significant when used correctly. At its core, suppressing the enemy involves making them aware of just how close they are to being shot, which both disrupts what they're currently doing and also encourages them to promptly seek out or stay in cover. Suppression is intimidating. The loud cracks and snaps of supersonic bullets passing nearby or smashing into the ground or walls around a person are dramatic incentives to find somewhere safe and stay in it. It's hard for a person under suppressive fire to shoot back at the source. Suppressive fire is most convincing when the enemy believes that it's close, accurate, and that the next burst could hit them if they were to be exposed to it. When firing suppression, it's important to spend ammo wisely. While a large volume of fire might be needed initially to cause an enemy to take cover and become suppressed, sustaining that suppression can often be done by firing short bursts, which is basically a reminder to the enemy that, yes, the machine gun still knows they're there and it's going to hurt them if they peek out of cover. A few well-aimed rounds can be just as intimidating as a long burst. At the higher level, suppression can be employed to keep a position preoccupied while another friendly element moves to flank it. This is known as fixing the enemy by fire. When employing fix and flank tactics, the machine gun team should keep in close communication with the flanking team in order to lift or shift fire at the right time to avoid hitting friendly units. That wraps up this look at operating as a machine gunner or a machine gun team member. The most important takeaway is the same as always. Practice is necessary to get the most out of your weaponry and equipment. Whether you're playing official content like in-game or checking out missions from the Steam workshop, remember that teamwork pays off and a well-practiced team is a formidable force on any battlefield. For more community guide videos, be sure to subscribe to the official Arma 3 YouTube channel. For other Arma 3 updates, keep track of the official website, Facebook, and Twitter pages. If you'd like more in-depth tutorial and multiplayer gameplay of Arma 3 and the previous Arma games, I'd recommend you check out my channel here. This is DSLYECXI, and until next time, take care.